Hi there, Ryan from 910. If you're watching this video, you're interested in the webinar that we will be hosting with BusinessLink on optimizing your website for Google. So what does that mean to optimize your website for Google? Optimize, of course, is one of these buzzwords that could mean a lot of things, so let's dive in. So the first thing I want to point your direction to is a Google search result page where, as an example, I'm searching for website designers, Grand Prairie, or rather Grand Prairie website designers. Obviously those could be flipped and that would be a common way that people would search. And generally, humans, we tend to search by describing the product or the service that we're looking for. And then quite intuitively, we would then also say where we're looking for those services. Grand Prairie, Calgary, Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, Edmonton, etc. Now, when a searcher does not put the explicit direction, Google does have some ways to determine where they are based on their IP address and other factors, but generally speaking, Google is trying to understand what are you looking for, and are there potentially results that would be local, which would show up in the Google map. So I wanted to break down the three specific sections that you can be discovered, that you can have placement on Google, and then we will talk about which one is most relevantly tied to your website. So the first thing you'll notice on this example, and the results would change if I were to change the search terms to branding agency or marketing agency or logo design, etc. But in this example, you can see Grand Prairie website designers. There's some ads. So the ads are typically always the first thing to show up. If there are any ads, they are always at the top. So this is paid placement. So 910, we are paying for our ad to show up when people search for website designers Grand Prairie. We could also choose for those ads to show up in Red Deer or in Edmonton or in any market really, and we would just have to pay for that placement. Below that is called Google My Business Directory. And if Google believes that what you're looking for, the product or service you're looking for, the search term that you're looking for is tied to a business that has a physical location, it believes you're looking for a local result, it'll pull up these Google My Business listing results, which is really a directory that's tied to the map interface. And then below that, you have the organic search results. And so this specific example, you can see that we are listed as number 3. And then number 2 is actually a directory listing of which we are in there as well. And so depending on the search term, we tend to land between 1, 2, or 3 organically. That is our general goal. In a perfect world, you want to be number 1, of course, but it depends what your competitors are doing. And so really, when you're thinking about your business and you're thinking about your placement on search, there's a few different places to show up. There's the paid ads at the top, there's the Google My Business Directory, and then there's the organic results below. And what we're going to cover in this session is those organic results. Because the ads, you can simply pay Google to have your ads show up. And we're not going to go into detail in that section as well. We do have another summer webinar series with BusinessLink where we're covering how to show up and how to optimize your Google My Business Directory listing. But the organic results, you cannot pay for these results. You have to earn this placement by the quality of your website. So in this session, we are going to demonstrate what are the things that you need to do on your website. So now I'm just showing 910's website. What are the things that we need to do on our website to maximize our chance of showing up in the organic section of Google's results? Remembering that on Google, there are multiple places to show up. There are the ads at the top, the map directory listing in the middle, and then the organic results, of which there are 10. If you're not in the top 10, it would be on the next page. And as you probably know from your experience, most people, unless they're really digging and searching, they're not going to go to the second page. So what you really want to do is you want to maximize your presence across that entire stack on Google, which is a consideration of, does it make sense to place ads and for which services? What are the things that I need to do to make sure I show up in that Google Map directory? And then on my organic results, what are the things that I need to do to increase my chance of showing up in relation to my competitors? And so this is where it becomes a bit of an arms race. And in our industry, where we're competing against other web agencies that are also very familiar with SEO best practices, we tend to jostle against each other. For some search terms, we're number 1. For others, we're number 2. We tend to, if we're below the top 3, this would be an area where we'd identify as a critical risk and we'd put some effort towards. But more holistically, we are always taking a view, do we have an ad? Are we in the Google My Business Map directory? And are we in the top 3 on the organic? So in this session, we are going to cover the things that you can do and what you should be aware of to increase your placement in Google Organic. And so in this example here, if I just direct you to the top, this is an example where someone is searching for 910. Now, if someone is searching for us by name, it's no surprise that our ad shows up and that we are #1 organically. But in the more competitive space, where someone is searching for, I'm just looking for a website designer in Grand Prairie, they could have searched Red Deer or Edmonton, then we have a lot of competition, and Google has to make a call of which website to put at the top. So what is Google looking at to consider putting you in the #2 spot, the #6 spot, or the #1 spot? So that's what we're going to cover in this summer webinar session hosted with BusinessLink. Hope to see you there.